The time has come, and I have to do something about the state of this desk. I can't work here, I can't put my makeup on, and I want to film a series of makeup collection videos, and I can't do that either. I've been postponing filming this video for about 2 weeks now because I just didn't want to do it. I mean, I want to do it, but then to actually sit down and do it, it's just been a struggle. And I thought maybe if I brought you along while I did it and chatted a little bit about some things that have been on my mind, maybe it would make it easier and maybe I could get it done. Sorry about all the lights. I don't know how to do that. But anyway, I just have too many things sitting around and I need to figure out a way to get the space clearer. One thing I did was I moved my ring light here onto the floor and raised it up. So I think that is going to help because that was a really big round base that took up all of this space right here. And so with that off of there, that actually really cleared up a lot of space. So I am going to put the camera down, see if I can figure out a spot to put it where you can see me and see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to get to putting things away and talking about some things about clutter that have been on my mind. Okay, I think that's probably about as good an angle as I'm going to get, and it might be a little dark. The lighting may not be the greatest. So I hope that the content makes up for the lack of lighting. So before I actually start putting things away, I've been thinking a lot about clutter lately. I've been watching The Minimal Mom. I'll link her channel down below. And I'm not embracing a minimalist lifestyle. But I do feel the weight of stuff in our house. And just the amount of things that we have that we never use. And feeling like I want to get into drawers and cabinets and just go through things and figure out, why am I holding on to this? And can I let some of it go? The one thing that really resonated with me is that clutter can be toxic. It can have a significant impact on our mental state and our overall well-being. When we're surrounded by clutter, we can feel overwhelmed, stressed, and anxious. And it's difficult to get things done because you just feel this, or for me anyway, I just feel this sense of paralysis and almost like a why bother? Why bother clean? It's going to look messy anyway. Why bother starting a project? You're not going to be able to find what you need. And our house isn't messy, like hoarder status messy, that sort of things. Things are put away. There's just a lot of things, if that makes sense. This is a mess. But it's also all kind of contained right here in my corner. So it's not that bad, but it has gotten to the point where I really am not enjoying sitting down and doing my makeup because I can't even set anything down. That's what we're going to do while we talk. We're going to put things away and then we'll deal with how much of it later. And I was thinking about why clutter has such a negative impact on us. And I think one of the reasons that it does is because our mind gets cluttered as well as our environment. And we're managing so much stuff that it takes a lot of mental space to do that. Where did I put that item? Did I pay that bill? I can't find something that I need. Did it get thrown away? All of those things happen when we have a lot of clutter. Not to mention that when there's a lot of clutter around, our brain has to process all of that visual stimuli, which leads to us feeling overwhelmed. But I think one of the things that hit home hardest for me was realizing that clutter can be a constant reminder of tasks we haven't finished or goals we haven't met, and can therefore contribute to us feeling like we've failed, and then we feel bad about ourselves. Now that I have this empty, I have a stack of dirty brushes over here, and I'm going to put those in. Yes, I have a lot of dirty brushes again, but I'm going to put them in this container, and then I'm going to take them into the bathroom, and later on I'm going to wash them. So for example, things that might lead to feelings of guilt or inadequacy. Clothes that don't fit. You have 2 sizes below what you wear and 4 sizes above, and you keep them because you intend to lose weight or you're afraid you might gain weight. And so these clothes are this constant reminder that you aren't where you want to be. More brushes that I used for my Moira video, and so I'm also going to wash those. These are actually fairly clean, so they just need to go in my brush holder. which is a little full because I need to pull a few things out of here and wash them. Other items that might cause feelings of inadequacy, failure, that sort of thing. Products or appliances that we spent good money on, we thought we wanted them, but we never use them. Exercise equipment we don't use. You had that New Year's resolution that you were going to get healthy, and so you bought the treadmill or the stair machine or the bike or whatever, and you don't use it, and it sits in the corner mocking you for your failure to use it. How many of us have hobby or craft equipment that we were going to make everyone Christmas gifts this year or last year or 10 years ago, and we never did? And again, it's just another reminder of something that we wanted to do, but we didn't. And so when you look at those things, you feel bad about yourself. And finally, a really hard category are gifts we don't use or things that have been passed down to us, heirlooms, that sort of thing, but that don't fit our aesthetic, our style, that sort of thing. But you feel like you have to keep them because it was given to you by someone you care about. Dealing with these items can bring up feelings of incompetence, failure, guilt, loss. Lots of emotions can be tied to stuff. I am going to remove my mirror because that will go back, but it needs to go right now so that I can deal with what's on the desktop here. And I have a little packet of squares and I'm going to put those in a drawer. This new e.l.f. mascara, by the way, good stuff. Plan to do a video on it. These two are my two newest e.l.f. products, so I don't want to put them away because I am going to use them. So I think I'll put them in a little basket right there. So concealers, gathering up and putting them away. Primers. A powder. I don't know what to do with this. I don't like it, so I need to declutter it, and it did kind of break, so I repressed the part that broke. So I'll see if, I don't know, I'll see if maybe somebody with drier skin than mine can use it. I don't know. I don't know who that's good for. So brushes, I'm just going to set aside because those will stay, and then I have a little cup of eyeliners, and those will stay. This little cup has my shadow sticks in it, and I'm hoping that by having them out, I'll use them more. But I want to find a place for them over on my bookshelf of makeup and not sitting on my desk. Highlighter and contour. Hey, that worked well. And then another primer. And on a more practical level, having a lot of clutter can just make it hard to find stuff when you need it. So we waste time and energy searching for things. We know we have them, we just don't know where they are. And then maybe we have to go out and buy it because we couldn't find it. We know we have it, we need it, and so we have to go spend more money to buy something that we already have. Anybody else with me here on this? One thing that really resonated with me is realizing that things that we already have purchased are a sunk cost. And I was a business major, and so I took a lot of econ finance classes and that sort of thing. And a sunk cost is something that when a business spends money on something, you can't include necessarily the cost in decisions going forward because the money's already spent. You can't get it back unless it's something that you purchased recently and you can return. But keeping it, if you're not using it, doesn't somehow make the cost worth it. But it's important to realize that, okay, I thought that this was going to work, but for whatever reason, this path is not right for me, or it's not right for me anymore, and I can make a choice and choose a different path that might not include keeping this item. This was from a recent full face of e.l.f. products that I did, and all of this needs to be put away. I have a lot of powders. I don't like these packages that have a beveled edge on top because they don't stack well. I like to put them in my drawer here and that just doesn't work very well. Ha! Got them all in. So what do we do with this stuff? What about the clothes that don't fit? Maybe a reasonable option would be to keep one size on either side of your current size if you are currently losing or unfortunately gaining weight, which happens to a lot of us in these middle years, and we need to just be kind of gentle on ourselves. Something happened when I turned 48, and it didn't matter what I did, all of the old things didn't work anymore, and I gained 1 to 2 pounds a month, and it felt like there was nothing I could do about it. So yes, it was good to have some clothes that I could have pull down, that I felt like I had something to wear without having to spend a lot of money. But then when I actually got through menopause, I was able to lose the weight again. So if you're in the middle of that, maybe I hope that will maybe give you a little bit of hope that it's not going to always be the way it is right now. So part of the problem here is that my things have stopped fitting in the space that I have designated for them, which means I need to get rid of some things before I bring in any more. But I have an empty basket now. I'm going to use this to put things in that need to go somewhere else. If you are actively losing weight, then maybe it is okay to keep some more of those smaller sizes because hopefully you'll be in them soon. But if you're holding on to clothes that you've had for 10, 15, 20 years and they haven't fit you in that amount of time, even if they do fit you again, they're probably not going to be in style. And so you can go to Goodwill or Salvation Army or something like that and replace those clothes and release the hold that they have over you being in your closet or in a box, just kind of there. And right now I'm just kind of stacking my eyeshadow palettes that I've had out over here. They need to get organized and sorted, but that's going to happen later. I have a basket here that is my products that I'm getting rid of, either decluttering because I know I don't like them or I have used them up. And then I have, oh, that's not going to work. I got this little set at Target and it has like 4 of these small containers and they're generally okay, but anything that's tall, it tips them over. They're very unstable. And then it has the long one and then it has one bigger one that I have some foundations in. So I really liked this set, but like I said, they're a little unstable. I have eyeshadow primers in this one. And I'm sorry, this is scattered and everywhere, and I don't even know what I'm trying to accomplish here other than bringing you along while I clean up my work surface here. This little box is just a surface to raise up my mirror so that when I'm filming I don't have to look down too far. And I'm going to get out a makeup wipe because I want to clean things off. I have been working to declutter my closet for several years now, and I can't put all of my clothes in my closet at one time. I swap them out seasonally. So twice a year, I take everything out and put in the current seasons. But when I put them in, I hang all of the hangers backwards. And so when I wear something and it goes through the wash or I hang it back up, the hanger then goes forward. And so at the end of the season, anything that is still backwards, I didn't wear for an entire season. And those items I take out first, and generally I just declutter them. The exception would be as if it's something that's a special occasion outfit or something like that, and I didn't have an occasion to wear it, then it gets to stay. But because there's not very many of those, I can keep it in my head. And if I don't wear it again, then that's an entire year that I haven't worn that item, and I will declutter it at that point. And so by doing this for several years in a row, consistently, I have a wardrobe now that I pretty much wear everything unless my tastes have changed. And if that's the case, then they need to go because they're never going to get worn again. And those special occasion items, you only need 1 or 2. You don't need 10, unless you have a lot of special occasions that you go to, but I don't. So I was thinking about this, and how do you end up with so many things that you thought you were going to use and then you don't? And okay, YouTube is one of them, and because you see something and it's pretty and you think you need it too, or it's limited edition and you're afraid you're going to miss out. For me, I am really working hard to stop doing this, but it's purchasing things for the makeup wearer or fashionista or crafter or whatever that you want to be or that you think you should be, and not the one you are. And that's hard to sort out because it's okay to stretch yourself and to go outside your comfort zone. But it's a different thing to do something that is so far out there that it's never going to happen. Does that make any sense? For me, it's colorful eyeshadow palettes. I have a lot of really colorful, beautiful eyeshadow palettes. And I do wear color sometimes, but not enough to justify what I have. So when I do my declutter, a lot of those are probably going to get passed on to somebody else. I'm not going to get rid of them all because I do, like I said, like to wear color, but not that much. So then what do you do with them? You can see if somebody else in your life can use them. I'm not even cleaning anymore. You can see if somebody else in your life can use them and pass them on. Video ideas that I never did. Donate the item to a thrift store, a school, a theater department, something like that. If it's craft items, see if your local nursing home can use those items. They have craft time for their residents, and maybe they need things like that. If you do want to try to recoup some of your investment, you could list the item on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, that sort of thing. But for me, the idea of photographing it and listing it and keeping up with the listing and doing the mailing, it paralyzes me. And so in that case, it's better for me to just get rid of it. I don't know what to do with this stuff. I have these things over here that I would really like to. I'm going to put this. See, if I make it too hard to get to, then I won't use it. But it's only going to be there for a little while. So I'm going to move these shadows down there so that I can put these there. Okay, true confessions time. How many of you have gifts that were given to you that you don't have out in your house unless the person who gave them to you is coming over? These are hard because there's emotion and sentiment tied up in them. You don't want to hurt someone's feelings because they gave you something that they spent time and money on picking out. But the fact that you aren't using it doesn't negate the thought or the time that went into it. Or maybe there wasn't any time and thought put into it. Then you are giving them power over you to determine what gives you value, because you using a gift doesn't have any bearing on how you feel about the person who gave it to you. The other thing is that it's not our job to manage other people's responses. It's okay to say, I appreciate the gift that you gave me, and I love you, but it's just not for me. How they respond to that is their business, not yours. I mean, that sounds harsh. But okay, I'm going off on a tangent here. Women often take the role of peacekeepers in families and in relationships and feel like it's our job to make sure that everybody's happy all the time. And it's not. It's not our job to be the cruise director and make sure that everybody's entertained, that everybody's relationships are stable and happy and loving, especially adults in our lives. They can manage their own relationships. And I think a lot of us, especially at this age, were raised to be people pleasers, to be relationship managers, to be the one who made sure everything ran smoothly all the time. And if it didn't, then we had to do something to fix it. We don't. We don't have to fix it all. And we don't have to manage relationships between our husbands and our kids, or their kids and their friends, or our kids and their grandparents. Those relationships, especially when they're between adults, it's their job to manage them. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but if I put gasoline in the washing machine, will it actually explode?
It's not something I ever considered or realized that there was a warning against.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't put gasoline in the washing machine.
I don't plan to put gasoline in the washing machine.
Okay, I'm glad. Maybe somebody did and it exploded and that's why it's on there.
Did you panic for a second? Did you?
Maybe just a little. Maybe just a little, not gonna lie.
I might look up.
What happens if you put gasoline in a washing machine?
Yeah, because I kind of wanted to see it explode.
Okay, cool. And it's also not our job to be managers of everybody else's stuff. So maybe if you're really overwhelmed, just start with your own stuff and deal with that. And maybe the people around you will see, hey, it's starting to look pretty good, and they'll be motivated to want to deal with their stuff and ask you for help. It's okay to help. It's okay to help. So I am going to put these over here along with my eyeshadow primers, and those fit there really well. I am actually making some progress here. So I have my PUD basket here. I'm going to be doing an update with that and some makeup empties in another week or so, and then letting you know what I'm going to do going forward, if I'm going to continue PUD or if it's going to transition into something else. So that I'm just going to set on my windowsill, I think. Use that surface there. And then these are actually empty baskets, and I'm just going to, for now, get them off my desk. And I'll determine if maybe they need to get put away and where I'm going to put them, or if I don't need them anymore. So these are some brushes that also need to get washed. These are not dirty. So this basket's kind of powder puffs, eyelash curlers. I need to wash a couple of these powder puffs. And some little eyeshadow sponges. So I think that's good for that. And that's a good point to remember, that decluttering your home can be difficult because it's not just your stuff. And you really can't just throw away other people's stuff. Sometimes you can, but most of the time you need their buy-in in order to be able to get rid of their stuff. Heirlooms and gifts is probably the most difficult one because there's history there and you feel like you have to keep it because it was passed down through the family. And for these, I'm not talking about things that you actually love and that you use and that bring you joy, because obviously those things you should keep. Display them in your home, be proud of them, use grandma's tablecloth at Thanksgiving, that sort of thing. These are the things that you're keeping only because they used to belong to somebody in your family. Maybe there are special memories attached to it, but they don't have a place in your home. They are just in storage. These things are packed away. They may feel heavy if you think about them. It's not with joy. It's not with happiness. It's with, yeah. Is that a washing machine or a dryer?
It's a washing machine.
Okay. Well, don't put gasoline in your washing machine.
Yeah, well, he also put a spark plug in there so that it would create a spark. So
oh, well, okay. Well, that wasn't...
So he kind of cheated
He did kind of cheat a little bit.
You cleaned it and it looks so nice.
It's getting there. And for these items that are packed away that just make you feel heavy or wish that you could do something with them but feel like you can't, getting rid of the item would not get rid of your memories of the person or of their using the item. And so you're allowing this item to weigh you down in the present rather than letting the memory bring you joy in the present, if that makes sense. I'm really philosophical tonight. I hope you guys don't mind this content because I just had a lot of things I wanted to talk about. And I may go to edit this and none of it makes any sense and you may never see it. Or you might. Okay, another tangent. Double-ended brushes. What do you do with them? You can't put them in your brush container because you squish one end. Oh, I have to charge my phone. But if they're just laying on the table, then it's just contributing to your clutter. So, I don't know. I like this brush. I like that you have, a small one so you can do under the eyes on one side and then the bigger one for everything else on the other side. But I don't know if I like it enough to deal with the hassle of where to put the darn thing. So right now it's going in the dirty brush drawer. I am making some serious progress here, you guys. Where was I? The person that you are remembering when you have that item is not in the item. The memories of them are not in the item. Maybe you could take a picture of the item and put it in a scrapbook or have it in a folder on your phone that if you wanted to look at it, you could see it, but you didn't actually have to have it in storage in your attic or even in a storage locker that you're paying for every month in order to keep that item. You are not going to forget them if you don't have that item. I mean, let's face it, we all remember people that we have nothing from who touched our life decades ago. Those memories are here and they can't be taken away. The other thing I think about is that item that might mean something to me isn't going to mean anything to my children if I am not using it and I'm not telling them about the memories that are associated with it, and they don't have any memories of me using it. Then it's just going to be something that they have to deal with someday. And do I really want to put that on them? So if you aren't using it and enjoying it, it is okay to let those items go. See if somebody else in your family wants them, but don't be surprised if they say no. And while clutter causes anxiety, getting rid of clutter can also be very anxiety provoking. You can create an anxiety-free, clutter-free life, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be anxiety-free getting there. Okay, so I have this tray of stuff that I honestly don't know what to do with. These are products that I want to do a video on, and I'm going to put them right here. The rest of this stuff is just kind of odd sized or shaped. Some of it is my iMethod stuff that I got in PR, and I do use them. My daughter really, really likes the eyebrow stamps. Actually, she likes the liner on the eyebrow stamps. So I'm going to put that. And these are in here because you're supposed to store them horizontal. Again, with the two-sided brush. Storing horizontally takes up a lot of space. And then I have a selection of tweezers and eyebrow tools and that sort of thing. I think one of these little square things is going to be my tweezer stash. I mean, seriously, how many tweezers do I need? I bought a set of plastic tweezers because if you put on magnetic eyelashes with a metal tweezer, the lash sticks to the tweezer, it won't go on your eye. I really only needed one tweezer. But if you could get 7 for just a couple dollars more than you could get 1, why wouldn't you get 7? Because now I have 7 tweezers that I don't know what to do with. So these are the stencils that I use, and this box has the stencils that I don't. So I'm going to put this in a drawer for now until I figure out what I want to do with the stencils I don't use. And I'm going to take everything off of this tray and dust it because it's kind of a mess. This is a tool that I bought from Shop Miss A for $1. It's supposed to help with not getting mascara all over your face. It doesn't work. I'm going to throw it away. Yay! I am making huge progress here. And then I'm going to dust this little tray because it's very dirty and very dusty. And the purpose of this tray initially was a place to corral my little pencil holders with brushes and eyeliners in them, but it had so much other stuff that it couldn't serve its purpose. So I'm going to free it from the tyranny of all the other stuff and let it do what it was supposed to do. So these things sit on there like that. And yes, a lot of these are dirty too, but one thing at a time. And the only thing going back on the tray, other than the 3, is the eyeliner that has to be stored horizontally. And maybe I'll put my other brush there too, now that there's room for it. So I am going to now clean off this clean side of my desk. Sorry for the earthquake, but my camera is attached to a boom microphone stand and it's attached to the desk. So as I clean the desk, it shakes the mic. Sorry. These are a bunch of pigments that I got in a friend mail, and I actually do use them, but I don't use them frequently enough to justify having them setting out all the time. So I'm going to put it in the top drawer here where I have some other rarely used eyeshadow products. And then this had that other little container on it, so the only thing I have now is my empties, and this doesn't need to be out. I suppose I should just throw this away. This is a NYX eyeshadow primer that I bought, and it has a hole in the side of it. I was going to keep it until I could get to an Ulta and take it back, but I got this in August, and I haven't taken it back yet. So I'm going to take my own advice and realize that if I haven't taken it back in 4 or 5 months, probably not going to get it done, and they wouldn't take it back anymore anyway, so I'm going to throw it away. I didn't really like it that much as an eyeshadow primer anyway. It is really amazing how dirty a desk gets where you do your makeup all the time with the powders, and how much it scatters everywhere when you're just right here doing your makeup. It's very bizarre. Okay, so while I reset things here and before I give you the final reveal of how everything looks, let's just talk a little bit about how we can start to declutter. And I'm speaking here about myself because it's something I wanted to do for a long time, but I have not actually gotten it going. And so some tips that resonated with me are start small. And for me, small is this little surface right here. This is my start. It can be so overwhelming if you have a lot of stuff that you need to declutter that you don't even know where to begin, and then paralysis takes over and you just go back to scrolling YouTube shorts and nothing gets done. Pick one area of your home, your office, one drawer, and focus on decluttering that space. And then you will have a success, and then you can build on that and tackle something else. Don't decide on a weekend that you're going to declutter the entire house and pull everything out of the drawers, because you will run out of steam or you'll run out of time. And then it will be even worse than before you started, and you will feel even worse than you did. So start small, focus on a little thing that you can accomplish, and then build on that success. I think when I do this, I'm going to use the 4-pile method. Sometimes people talk about a 3-pile method, but I'm going to use the 4-pile method. And the first pile is trash. Anything that is obviously trash, get rid of that first. That's the easy stuff. Then the next one is the donate. And again, those are the ones that you know you're never going to use it and you just need to get rid of it. The keep pile, and then there's one more that is, I think, going to be really helpful, and that's the quarantine pile. And the quarantine pile is stuff that you really think that you probably should get rid of, but that you have some sort of a tie to, or you're afraid that you're going to need it. And so you put it in a box, seal it, and then date it. And set a time frame, 4 months, 6 months, a year, whatever time frame you feel like you need to break the connection to that item. And if you haven't needed to go into that box to get anything out of it in that time frame, then you can donate the whole box. So that's what I'm going to do. Then set aside a time to declutter. This here now is going to be things that I use daily. So I am going to put my sharpener on there, my 10X mirror, my Wet n Wild Brulee, and those couple of, actually those are going to go over here where I keep my brow products. And then I am going to put a lip balm and my eye cream there. So normally I keep things in this little tray of my mirror, but they always fall off. So I'm not going to keep things there. But this over here right now is the things that I use every day. And there's enough space here that when it's time for me to put my makeup on, I can pull them closer and then put them back. So that is exciting to me. And then I have this little container here that has little tools in it and stuff. And right now I'm not decluttering. I am just getting things cleaned up. The declutter will come later. So some of these may go away, but for now they're there, and I'm just going to set them on the windowsill because I can reach them and they're out of the way. I also have my little sponge holder, and that's going to go on my everyday tray as well. Another thing to think about is to set aside time to declutter and make it a dedicated time that's what you're doing in that. It may be 1 day a week, it may be for 2 hours on a Saturday, whatever it is, but set aside a time and then try to tackle projects that you can do in that amount of time so that you can, again, build on those small successes. And if you have a time dedicated to it, then you can focus on the task at hand without getting distracted, because we all know that we operate pretty much on the if you give a mouse a cookie principle, where you start doing this and then you realize, oh, I got to put a load of laundry in, and then when you're in the laundry room, you just need to focus and try not to get distracted. Create a decluttering schedule. So once you get something clutter-free, you can't just ignore it, because then it'll just build up again. So once you get a space clutter-free, then there has to be maintenance that happens to keep it clutter-free. And then once well into the journey, I want to start thinking about the 1 in, 1 out rule. So if I bring something in, something else has to go. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same category, but it might be a way of keeping decluttering in the front of your mind. This year I had my PUD basket, and the idea there was to use up products that were almost empty, because it was a small goal and it was easily achievable, and it built on itself. And now I don't really even have to think about it. If I notice a product is getting low, I just automatically think, oh, I need to use this more than my other stuff because it's almost gone. And it's really, really been helpful because it just brings it front of mind. So let's bring my little box back up and set my mirror on it. I need to clean my mirror too, so. Anyway, so those are some of the things that have been on my mind. And YouTube is going to hate this video because I pretty much always do makeup stuff, and that's where they niche me, and that's who they show my videos to. And so this one, they're really not going to know what to do with it. But I'm more than just makeup. There's more to my life, there's more to me than just this. And I assume that there's also more to you than just makeup. I like to watch other things on YouTube besides makeup, and I think about things other than makeup. So if you enjoyed this video, then I would ask that you would maybe consider sharing it with somebody, for sure giving it a like, and if you're not subscribed, then subscribe. And if you enjoy this other kind of content, this free association of... I did take some notes because, like I said, this stuff has been pinging around in my head for quite a while, but I'm sure it's still kind of all over the place and rambly. If there seems to be significant gaps in the cleaning process, it's because I got too rambly and I just cut that part out, or I wasn't making any sense. And so, yeah. This is a different style of video for me for sure, and it was hard for me to keep my train of thought while I was cleaning, but let's see what it looks like now. Thank you for coming along on this crazy video of mine. If you want to see another decluttering video and see that closet swap I talked about, I'm going to link that one right here for you, and you can go watch that. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Bye-bye.